Hello, my name is Vala Afshar. I'm the Chief Digital Evangelist at Salesforce, and today I'm going to talk to you about electricity and flow. When I talk about electricity, I'm talking about artificial intelligence, and flow is design thinking principles to optimize your stakeholder experience. This picture that I chose, I think, depicts light and flow, but what's especially important about this picture in the background is it was actually produced by a machine learning algorithm and AI. So it's a reminder to myself and our audience that even the most creative work in the world today can be duplicated by machine learning and emerging technologies like AI. Now, when I talk about flow, I want the audience to think about movement. Nothing happens until something moves, Albert Einstein said. So this presentation is really about movement. When we talk about digital transformation and connecting with our customers and partners and employees and communities, it's all about free flow and movement. And that's how you achieve optimal experience. Now, historically, businesses have had silo mindsets. That's capturing resources, protecting resources, and extracting as much value as they can from those resources. Unfortunately, this silo mentality is not the mindset we need in the next normal, especially due to the pandemic and this digital first mindset that all economies are looking to compete in and win. Unfortunately, most industries across all sectors have had this silo mindset and silo organizational design and product and service delivery since the beginning of mankind. So it's really important as you listen to the presentation to think about the mindset you need as business leaders in order to compete in this new digital economy. Now, there has been a stunning flow of technological advancements. I would argue in the last 28 years, and I specifically refer to the launch of the World Wide Web, which happened in 1993. The launch of the World Wide Web really gave birth to the internet industry and the internet revolution. In fact, when you look at these incredible technologies of the past 3 decades, the adoption of these technologies are getting faster and faster. When it comes to AI, when it comes to 5G, when it comes to quantum computing, Web 2.0 and cloud, greater adoption at breakneck speeds in the last 2 or 3 decades. Now, of course, this has changed the business landscape in terms of how we value companies. If you looked at the last 100 years or even the last 10 years, the most valuable companies in the world by market capitalization typically were oil companies and not technology companies. And yet, if you look at the most valuable companies today in terms of market capitalization, you see 9 of the 10 companies are technology companies. Majority of these companies are software companies. And many of these companies are AI, artificial intelligence leaders in their industry. So companies that are software AI driven are today some of the most valuable companies. Now, because of this, you may have heard data is the new oil, because oil used to be the most valuable companies in the world, oil producers, and now it's data producers and algorithmic economies and companies. But I'd like to think that data is not like oil. Data is like water. It's essential for life, and it needs to be clean and accessible to all. So as business leaders, and Chile is a leader in your geography in terms of understanding the importance of data and understanding the importance of digitization. So we have witnessed an intelligent revolution. We have seen solutions like software solutions transition from guiding us to predicting outcomes to proactively engaging with us and ultimately prescribing prescriptive use of analytics, what we need to do right now to ensure our predictions come to fruition. Now, our world has changed. We saw that in February of 2020, essentially the globe went to a decentralized, digital-only world due to the COVID-19 pandemic. That created opportunities for new business models, acceleration of IT roadmap adoption for technologies like contactless payments, e-commerce, cloud computing, and so on and so forth. Now, we saw in the US a 10-year acceleration of both culture and digital transformation. Culture in terms of working from home, digital transformation in terms of e-commerce. In fact, the chart shows a 10-year acceleration of e-commerce in the US in just 3 months in the middle of 2020. Chile also experienced incredible acceleration. According to the OECD 2021 report, you saw the share of citizens using digital identity in Chile grow to 40% in 2020. You saw 20% of workers in Chile working from home. We saw a share of Chilean households connected to internet at broadband speeds at 88%, and businesses at 90% broadband connectivity during 2020. So massive acceleration in terms of cultural and digital transformation. Some countries saw as much as 100% growth in e-commerce. So a doubling effect of citizens using digital commerce to conduct product and service transaction. Worldwide, we saw a 25% increase. In terms of ranked by real-time payments, you saw a massive explosion of real-time payments for safety, social distancing, and all of this driven by the pandemic. Now, another aspect that we saw in 2020 is citizens, consumers shifting brands that demonstrated safety, brands that removed friction, brands that made it easy to do business with, received the loyalty of buyers. There was 60% of people around the world switched brands during the pandemic, never to go back to their original brand. This is unprecedented change based on value, based on low friction, based on accessibility and safety. So businesses really were forced to think about different ways of connecting with their consumers due to the pandemic. Now, as we think about the future, there will be different modes of operations in terms of connecting with your customers and employees and partners. You'll see greater autonomous delivery, you'll see greater AI adoption. All of this is continuous innovation that's happening in terms of digital transformation for businesses, regardless of size, small, medium, or large. Now, think about what happens on the internet. I talked about the web being launched 28 years ago. This is every minute on the internet. 210 million emails sent every minute. The big takeaway in this, when you look at these incredible statistics, is that data never sleeps. 24 hours a day, every minute, every second, millions, billions, perhaps trillions of data from messaging apps to social networks to web traffic to email is happening. This is the world we live in. This is the digital only, perhaps digital first economy that will define the next 2 decades. Now, at my company, this is what happens every day, every 24 hours. And I want to bring your attention to what we call our artificial intelligence. We call it Einstein. Every day in 24-hour period, our machine learning algorithms produce 93 billion predictions. We predict what's going to happen in sales, in service, in marketing, in commerce, and we let our customers know about these predictions. A year ago, this was 6 billion predictions. In a year, we're at 93 billion. If I had to forecast a year from now, we may be producing 500 billion predictions in a 24-hour window across sales, service, marketing, and commerce. So business applications need to deliver intelligence to end users in order for you to compete and win. Now, how do we reach our full potential? How do we change our mindset as business leaders? How do we design products and services so that we have this constant movement with low friction? Now, I believe when we think about businesses as they get bigger and more complex, they start to resemble living organisms. You and I, human beings, are a living organism. We operate autonomously. The systems are automated. Our lungs, our hearts, our arteries and veins, our brain. This is an autonomous living organisms. And this is a lesson for us in terms of how to design our businesses. A biology lesson. We breathe oxygen through our lungs. Our heart, between 60 to 100 pumps, beats a minute, pumps nutrients in our bodies, oxygenated blood in our veins, deoxygenated blood in our arteries. This is our circulatory system. Our pulmonary, cardiovascular, and systemic system is what keeps us alive. But when you think about the lungs or the heart, these are just pumps. Pumps are like departments: sales, service, marketing, commerce. We capture information, we analyze information, and we share what we think is good information for our businesses to thrive. Businesses, as they become more digitized, become more automated, become more autonomous, and they start to resemble a living organism. In fact, all living systems are flow-based. They circulate resources throughout organisms and its environment. And that's what digital transformation in business will do. Digital transformation in business speaks to what we talk about when we talk about a healthy relationship based on flow of values, mental well-being in terms of psychological flow, physical well-being in terms of movement. We've always associated health of individuals to flow and movement. This similarity exists in business. In business, you have internal flows and you have external flows. Internal flows are your culture, your talent, your process. External flows is how you communicate with your customers, your businesses, companies, ecosystems. For example, Chile, New Zealand, and Singapore signed the first digital economy agreement. This agreement was the common interest in terms of making sure there was free flow of technologies like artificial intelligence, digital identity, privacy, 5G usage. So the future of these external flows, when Chile, New Zealand, Singapore signed the first ever digital agreement, is that you can co-create value. It's about co-creation of value, and that speaks to healthy flows, in this case, among 3 countries that are digital pioneers. Now, in my company, we've been trying to build the best, smartest circulatory system for business, connecting these pumps, the hearts, the lungs, the arteries and veins, to departments, sales, service, marketing, commerce, IT, HR, manufacturing. So for 21 years, my company has been trying to build the smartest business circulatory system. Now, part of building this was acquisitions, not just organic, because it is about velocity. It's about speed and direction. So understanding the right pumps, the right capabilities you need in your business to compete means you have to have a hybrid mindset. You have to be able to develop internally and partner with the best and brightest businesses to grow your capability, to build your circulatory system. Now, you do this with the right set of core values. It's never just about the technology. It's about your beliefs and your actions and your words. Our core values in my company at Salesforce is trust, customer success, innovation, and equality. Now, these core values means that doing good and doing well are not mutually exclusive. We're one of the fastest growing technology companies in the world because those core values guide our everyday actions in terms of how we help our customers connect with their customers. In fact, according to IDC, the Salesforce economy in the next 3 years will create an additional $1.2 trillion to global GDP and help create 4+ million jobs exclusively in the Salesforce economy. So it is about adding value and improving society. That's its culture, its talent, and of course, technology. So when we talk about principles of flow, I've done years of research as a former head of engineering, services, and marketing, and I believe there are 7 principles that define optimizing flow. And I'm going to go through these quickly, but I've written extensively, tens of thousands of words I've written about these principles in the last year. You can just Google my name, Vala, and you'll find my articles on ZDNet. The first is connections. When Chile, New Zealand, and Singapore had the first digital agreement, that's a form of connection. It's connecting people, it's connecting businesses, it's establishing trust and relationship. Connections is one of the key principles. Next is distribution. Once you connect, you have to be able to distribute talent, insights, data, understanding of the connections through entire ecosystem so that you can create value at the speed of need. It's about integration. Many businesses have on-premise technology, they have new cloud computing technologies. You have to be able to integrate all these systems so that you have a clear view of your customers and partners throughout your organization. One of the largest acquisitions in my company's history was a company called MuleSoft. MuleSoft uses APIs to integrate and create a multi-cloud orchestration capability, connect legacy, older on-premise technologies to newer cloud-based applications. So integration is an important principle. Autonomy. You have to trust your stakeholders and you have to give them the freedom and you have to reward them and champion autonomy. It's all about an autonomous enterprise. Digital transformation will ultimately lead to autonomy in business, but that starts at the individual. So autonomy is a very key principle of flow-based design. Mobility. This is your remote control for life. Most of your customers, employees, business partners need to run their work on their devices. So it's not just being mobile and not being tethered to a desk, but it's mobility when it comes to talent, mobility when it comes to core values. It's about precision, it's about speed, it's about connectivity. You have to design a mobile work from anywhere, success from everywhere mindset. And that requires investment in technology and investment in culture and talent. Continuity. You have to be able to have this free flow of understanding and value throughout the system. This is a high-speed computer vision of a martial artist champion. But what's really interesting is when you see the martial artist in terms of the micro movements, you have to deliver networking, connectivity, and integration, and autonomy and mobility at micro levels. Every level in terms of your execution has to be excellent and create value. So it's really continuity and agility, and this requires low friction. That's why the dynamic fluid principles of flow apply to business. This is physics. This is science applied to how you design your business. Last thing is holistic success. These are two brothers that ran in a world triathlon competition, and Johnny fell down and his brother Alistair picked him up, and they were able to finish second and third because holistic success, caring about each other, matters. Businesses around the world, countries around the world have to co-create value. So holistic success, not silo mentality, but flow mentality is key to success. So silo-based versus flow-based. Comparing the two different mindsets, I think, is important so you can see the juxtaposition that's necessary in terms of creating value. I give you an example of a company that's implementing flow-based, Amazon. Amazon will have nearly 3,000 stores called Amazon Go. You walk in the store, you pick up your snack, your beverage, your food, and you walk out. The checking out process is completely automated. You no longer wait in line to pay. You just pick up and go. Now, there's about a dozen technologies that have to work together for this magical experience. But this is an example of low friction, flow-based, optimal experience that a company's demonstrating right now. Now, when I think of flow, I also think about payments. When you look at digital wallets, this is flow of money. Flow of money with reduced friction is a $1 trillion market just in the US. In fact, could be a $4 trillion market. Think about how easy it is with applications like Square and PayPal and Venmo for individuals to transact money peer-to-peer and to businesses. The cost of acquiring new customers on these mobile payment apps is a tiny fraction of traditional banks. In fact, the cost for a traditional bank to acquire a customer is thousands of dollars and about $20 US with payment apps. So because of the seamless user experience. So what we're seeing in terms of transaction of flow of money, and of course this also includes cryptocurrencies, is that you have low friction, instant value exchange. And this is an example of a multi-trillion-dollar market that's consistently reducing friction and increasing the speed of exchange of value. So Amazon was an example. Mobile payments is another example that I think is it speaks to design thinking principles based on flow. Now, AI, I believe, accelerates flow, artificial intelligence. I believe that it's the most important technology of the 21st century. Now, I started my presentation with an algorithm drawing, which took only a few seconds to create. This was by an artist, Keegan Hall. It took him 250 hours, and it's a pencil drawing of the famous Michael Jordan dunk in the All-Star competition many decades ago. Now, there's beauty in this, and it took 250 hours to create, but it's important to realize that, again, the most creative work today is now created by machines and algorithms within seconds. There's beauty in this, but it's important to understand emerging technologies. In fact, the leaders of the biggest companies in the world and the most valuable companies in the world believe that AI is perhaps the most important human invention that businesses need to understand. The founder of my company believes AI must be a human right because if you don't have access to artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, smart robotics, computer visioning, there's about 13 categories of AI, you will not be able to compete in this new economy, this digital first, more and more decentralized economy. Now, when you look at the startup space, you see that as of August, as of this month, there are $142 billion raised by venture capitalists investing in AI startups. So it's important to realize that this is an incredibly white-hot space in terms of startup investments in these technologies. Now, in terms of maturity, most of these technologies are very early, very young capabilities. So that's good news. I think governments and private sector should invest in startups and accelerate the innovation in this space. I recently tweeted that AI could add $16 trillion to global economy by 2030. And Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla and SpaceX, replied to my tweet, and he said, much more than this. And it's increasing rapidly. So I thought 16 trillion was a lot. Elon Musk thought that's a very small number. I trust Elon when it comes to understanding the impact of AI. So an example of an AI leader talking about the importance of technology. So what's the lesson here? The lesson here is that the most important skill is for us to learn, unlearn, and relearn so that we can change ourselves, so we can change our teams, so we can change our businesses. Staying teachable is an incredibly important skill in this new economy. Now, when I think of living organisms, I think the closest invention to a living organism is an autonomous vehicle. Autonomous vehicle has to make decisions in real time. That means they have to capture information, analyze, and do that in sub-seconds. So an example would be a company like Tesla building autonomous electric vehicles. Now, if you look at the flow principles I talked about, connection, distribution, autonomy, and you look at autonomous design and the actual technology that makes vehicles able to drive automatically in real time, this is the future of business. And the future of business in terms of autonomous vehicle means changing your technology investment, is taking advantage of your existing technology, perhaps modifying some of your capabilities, and then adding new capabilities like machine learning, like cloud computing, like mobile and social technologies, 5G, Internet of Things, quantum computing. These are all additive new capabilities to consider. This will change the relationship in how we work. In an autonomous vehicle, you're no longer just driving a car. You could be watching Netflix. You could be doing work. You could be reading your favorite book. So relationships change as cars become autonomous. What you do in sales, service, marketing, commerce, human resources, in business, relationships and responsibilities will also change. So that's an important understanding of the impact of technology. Now, the journey has consistently changed. We talk about, what we do in terms of in the financial sector, traditional commerce versus emerging commerce of web and mobile and social and video and chat, headless commerce applications. So if you look at an example journey of a customer in the financial industry, from awareness to evaluation to making a purchase to servicing the customer, there's an incredible journey that's more and more sophisticated, which means as you go through that journey, you have to take advantage of technology in terms of how you market to an individual in a personalized manner, how you conduct e-commerce, how you deliver services and support. So when you think about what type of technology stack you need, this is an example of a reference architecture of customer experience technology stack. Whether you're in a B2B or B2C, business to consumer or business to business, leveraging experience and marketing and integration and sales and IT. This is very sophisticated work. Thankfully, companies like Salesforce have created a platform, a 360 customer success platform that allow all businesses to create that currency that matters most in business: speed, personalization, intelligence at scale. It's important to recognize that digital transformation is hard work. So selecting a technology partner that can help you build this level of sophisticated architecture is important in terms of your future success. So I said, technology is important, but in my personal experience as a practitioner and a researcher, it's culture, it's people, it's process, and lastly, technology. And your culture starts with your core values. Right now, we're in the middle of the Olympics. And we just experienced the Olympics in Tokyo. And I want to share a story with you. In 1998, the British rowing team would consistently fail to win or place high in races. And only 2 years away, the 2000 Olympics at Sydney was something that really concerned this rowing team. So the captain of the team said he's going to come up with one question that would guide the team in terms of making sure they're ready for the Olympics. And that one question that the captain asked was, will it make the boat go faster? So the captain asked the 8 men to say, when you decide to skip your practice or to eat more than you should or not get enough sleep, always ask yourself 24 hours a day, will it make the boat go faster? Will it make the boat go faster? These men use this one simple question to guide their training from 1998 to 2000. And in the 2000 Olympics, they won gold. So when it comes to digital transformation in your culture, what is that question that you're asking to help your business, your partners, your customers and employees be successful? I've talked about the importance of flow. So I suggest perhaps the question you should be asking is, just like the men did in the Olympics, will it increase the flow of value? The next time you're looking to hire someone in your business, the next time you're looking to invest in technology, the next time you're looking to establish a partnership in your business, ask yourself, will this increase the flow of value to your employees, to your customers, to your partners, to your communities? And if it doesn't increase the flow of value, stop and change, because this is how you compete in a decentralized, digital-first economy. My name is Vala Afshar. I'm the Chief Digital Evangelist at Salesforce. I thank you for your time, and I look forward to connecting with you so that we can learn from each other. Thank you very much.